another episode of Baseball in the Bible. I'm Riker, he is my dad, and I am here with my granddad today, Papa, I will refer to him as. He is here today. We're going to talk about Bulls, we're going to talk about baseball cards, we're going to talk about some home runs.
We're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff, yeah.
We're going to talk a lot of fun stuff. I'm in the festive spirit, as you can tell by the Santa hat. Christmas is coming up for us just past by the time that this video is being released. But
so do you want to go ahead and just thank your papa for all the amazing gifts that you got for Christmas? Just in advance, you can, whatever it is you're wanting, just go ahead and thank them and then put the pressure on them to actually have to.
Okay, that's right. Because I was gonna say that he might just be like, okay, well, he already thinks, or I'm going to leave and not give him anything. But,
No.
Thank you for the gifts in advance. So,
which are?
I'm not magical. I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know what it is that you're hoping
What you're hoping?
Oh, what's my hope?
I got a lump of coal.
Yeah, and this is your golden opportunity. Speak it into existence right now. What do you want?
Just get posted on YouTube.
Some new socks.
Actually, I do have a couple.
He has a lot of ridiculous socks on there.
Dumb socks. That's the thing. So I'm sure.
All right. Well, you're letting him off the hook right now. So whatever he gets you,
but
thank you
if he had told me he was going to say that, I would have been more prepared.
Card for Walmart.
There you go.
Hey, that works. A Visa gift card. How about that?
Well, it is the Christmas season. Yes, getting ready to celebrate Christmas in real life. When this comes out, it will just pass. So we're looking forward to that. So, one of the things we wanted to ask Papa was what? We were talking about Christmas gifts and
gifts, and then after that is.
Well, but we wanted to ask him what was his favorite.
Oh, what was your favorite gift as a kid? Sorry, my brain is everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I can think of two. Thinking back that far, one was a train set, because I like model trains, and so one was a big train set. My mom had it set up on a piece of plywood, and so that was early on. Also remember a few years later. We got my brother Randy and we got a kind of a joint gift, and it was a electric racetrack, but it was a drag strip. So you literally both had a gear shift, and you had to shift from first to second to third to fourth, and your car would go down the track like a drag race. And we got up early that morning, and our dad was still out there trying to work out the kinks. It wasn't quite working, and we could see the light was on, so we thought it was okay to get up, and we got up and ran down the hallway, and we were told to quickly get back in bed, and the drag strip never really worked right. So I remember getting a Dallas Cowboy football helmet one year and a bike.
Yeah.
So that was a big year.
So your favorite gift wasn't a Visa gift card or V-Bucks or any of those?
None of that existed back then.
Ridiculous things.
No, none of that existed.
Money.
Yeah. We just...
money did exist.
No, money existed. There was no electronic stuff. The racetrack was, like...
That was cutting edge.
That's cutting edge.
Yeah.
That's cutting edge.
When you were talking about that, Riker's eyes were glazing over. He had no idea what you were talking about. He was.
You know what a drag strip is?
I know what a drag strip is. Is when the two cars race down.
Yeah.
It's a very cool sport to watch.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty good. And most electric racetracks are circular, so it's kind of like Daytona 500. But this was a drag strip, and I've never seen another one since. So maybe the concept failed because. One lane worked great. The other lane,
Well, that's what I was saying. I like that you said this is one of your favorite gifts of all time, but it never really worked.
No, it was just, I think it was the moment getting up and then, walking out there and Dad's frustrated because he's trying to get it to work. And then Mom was like, "What are you guys doing? Get back in bed." I was like, okay.
I've had very similar.
And we couldn't tell at that split moment, we couldn't really tell what he was working on. So we got back in bed and we waited until it was time to get up. So
My dad was doing that with a Hot Wheels set, but that's kind of different. Yeah. I remember waking up and you were working on it. I was like, huh.
Yeah.
That's always the fun thing. The night of Christmas is
putting
things together. Yeah.
Yep. Well, it is Christmas season, and so we're excited about that. And we are gonna talk about New Year's is coming right around the corner, so we're gonna talk about that. But one of the reasons we wanted, since we had Papa here, a couple things to talk about, and one, I mean, much to the dismay of some of our viewers, you can see the jersey that he's wearing.
Yeah,
it's just another Cardinals fan in the house today.
Yep.
But so we wanted to talk about something that was even, that you were interested in hearing about because it was before your time. But we wanted to talk about the great home run chase of 1998 with Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. So I'm going to grab some artifacts here. And this is going to be another educational moment for some of our viewers. It was for Riker, as he was confused as to what these things were.
I knew what a magazine was.
But this, if you can see it, Sports Illustrated, they're still around, obviously, but we have several here with, this was just in 1998, for those that don't know, when McGwire and Sosa were going for the home run record. They were chasing Roger Maris's home run record of 61, going for 62. I mean, this was a few years after the strike in baseball, and baseball was kind of struggling, and this revitalized baseball, and really the whole country kind of was engrossed in it, following it day in, day out. And so I even kept this. This is one that you guys really probably don't know. This is called a newspaper.
And it's made out of trees.
Yeah, and so I kept this. I try to keep any of these historic, especially sports moments. And so this was the newspaper in St. Louis, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, the day after McGwire hit 62. So he hit it on September 8th, 1998. And so just as we talk about it, what are your recollections there? We were living in St. Louis at that time.
We were living in St. Louis. We were pastoring a church that was just a mile or so from Busch Stadium. So, but we had moved out to the suburbs. We were living south of St. Louis. But I remember every night tuning in to see, just watch the game, waiting for that to happen. If we were at the church, we could hear every time he would hit a home run, they would set off fireworks, and we could see the fireworks. We could hear the booms of the fireworks, and just the day-to-day anticipation and excitement, because we, even well before he got to 61, we could tell that he was on a pace, that it was possible. So we were it was a year that we, really tuned in for that part. It wasn't even really the Cardinals making the playoffs.
Cardinals were not good that year.
Yeah, they weren't making the playoffs. It was just watching, and then even watching back and forth with even we'd keep an eye on Sosa.
Sure.
And then the night that he broke it against the Cubs. And so Sosa was there, watching the thing take place. But it was just exciting. The whole city of St. Louis. St. Louis at that time was such a Cardinal city, baseball city. And so they, it was in the air. And when the Cardinals succeeded, the whole atmosphere of the city was up. And when the Cardinals did get to the playoffs and lose or have a tough year, it affected the psyche of the whole city. They were so attached to the Cardinals, but it was just exciting to day in and day out track who they're playing, who's the opposing pitcher, and whether or not there would be home runs that night.
Yeah, it was fun. Here's another headline, Sports Illustrated. The great home run chase, and it's talking about, it says they're in pursuit of Mac, Sammy Sosa, and Jr. King Griffey Jr. was in on that as well.
Yeah.
He kind of faded off toward the end of the year, but the three of them were going back and forth, and it ended up just being him.
Two-man race.
It was a two-man race.
Yeah.
And, and they were, it was cool because that's the Cardinals' big rival, but those two, it was just their interactions. I mean, it was pretty awesome to watch, and they were almost kind of pulling for each other, who was going to break it first. And then the night he broke it, you had Roger Maris's family was in the crowd at Busch Stadium. And again, of all the home runs that he hit that year, most of them majestic bombs. This was a screamer that barely got over the left field wall. It was one of those, like, you thought it was going to be maybe like a double in the corner kind of thing, but it stayed up just enough to get over the wall. And it was a big deal. It went on to hit 70 that year, which was the record, but only for a few years. It was crazy because the Maris record was, I don't remember how long that.
37 years it was in place. Yeah.
And then that was there. And then 3 years later, Bonds, really the next year, McGuire and Sosa did it again. They both hit over, I think it was 66 and 65, something like that. They were both over 62 again. And then in 2001, Bonds hit 73. I was going to say with the help of steroids, but McGuire and Sosa probably did it with the help of steroids as well.
Yeah, I was going to say McGuire.
But it was a fun year. It was a fun time for sure. Just, again, that dude, we played it when we did our home run derby a couple of weeks ago. I played with McGuire. I mean, it's just, I miss watching him play. It was a fun time. Just because, again, the expectation was, it's hard. We've talked about this. It's hard to hit a baseball, period. It's hard to hit a home run. But the expectation that year was every at bat,
everybody stood.
He's going to hit a home run. Yeah. He's got to hit a home run. And to get to that was back before, too, they would open up the stadium earlier and you could come watch him hit batting practice. And people would be there. I mean, the stadium would almost be packed for batting practice just to watch him,
hit the bombs,
crush the ball. Yeah. I mean, hit majestic shots. So that was a fun year.
Then McGuire, was the home run derby around back then?
Yeah. He competed in '99 when it was at Fenway, and I remember that because that was like the Century team, the All-Century team. Ted Williams was there. I don't think he won it, but he had a couple rounds where it was just like, because he was hitting just bombs over the Green Monster. It was an awesome thing, but I don't think he won it that year, but he did compete in it in '99.
Yeah,
so at the peak of his
career.
And the peak of who he was. I mean, he was that's the thing. At that time, he was the guy. Him and Sosa. Well, they were because they had kind of brought baseball back. Yeah. And they were the guys for sure for those few years. And
we left St. Louis in 2007 and moved to Dallas, and so we in Dallas kind of went through a similar period there with Josh Hamilton for a couple of years where he was the home run hitter for that team, and every time he come to bat, everybody waited for a home run, and then same thing, never participated in the home run derby, but never did it. But he had some.
No, he did participate in the home run derby. Hamilton did.
Yeah, he did. But never won it.
Yeah. He had the one round that was historic. At Yankee Stadium. Yeah,
and he had some historic, and then the Rangers and the Cardinals played in the World Series that year.
We've talked about that on this podcast many times. People don't like us to talk about that.
Well, for the folks in Dallas, it was very painful. But for Cardinal fans, the comeback in Games 6 and 7 was incredible, especially 6, because by all rights, Rangers should have won that, and David Freese and all those guys. They
sorry again. I mean, we didn't discuss to the viewers out there. We've talked about this a lot, and so it's just we didn't tell them to say this, but it's just pouring salt in your wounds again. But,
well, living in Dallas at the time, it was very painful to watch, and like the Cardinals back in '85 with the Royals. When the Game 6 got away from the Rangers, it felt inevitable.
The series was over.
The Cardinals were going to win, just like the Royals did. I mean, when that Game 6 was that missed call and all that stuff happened against the Royals, Game 7 was a disaster. And so we kind of relived that in that year with the Rangers.
It happens a lot.
Yeah,
it's like momentum it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So, 98.
Sorry, Rangers fans.
Any questions on 98, son? You just...
I mean,
It was a great year. That's all you need to know. It was a great year.
It was fun.
When did he announce that he was on steroids?
He never announced that he was on steroids. There was a whole thing with Congress got involved, and he was brought before, and he kind of sheepishly admitted it several years later. But it's one of those things for all the kids out there. If you're guilty of something, just admit it on the front end. It would have been a lot better for him. I do think he might be in the Hall of Fame. Same thing with Pete Rose all those years ago. If you just admit, yeah, guys, I screwed up, then they probably. But when you lie about it, then people are like, they dig their heels in and like, oh, I'm never going to vote for that guy. And again, McGuire, much like we said with Bonds when we discussed him in the outfield, Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he did steroids and got jacked up. He just wanted it because, again, all the attention was there's people that say, and there's books that have been written for Bonds, all the attention was given to McGuire and Sosa that year. And he's like, hey, guys, I'm probably the best player in baseball, and you guys aren't talking about me. So then I guess I got to get jacked up and start hitting home runs like that. And he did. But it cost him because, again, he was probably, if he had just retired pre-Giants, even with his Pirates days, he probably was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, he never really admitted it. He just kind of sheepish. Him and Sosa. I mean, Sosa spoke great English, and then he got before Congress, and all of a sudden he couldn't speak English. And McGuire, all he kept saying was, I'm not here to talk about the past. I just want to talk about the future. And so they had opportunities to just say, I did it. Young kids don't do it, and they didn't, and it cost them. But they would have both. I mean, all of those guys were just they were studs, and you know,
and steroids or not, you still gotta cue up that ball, and
steroids doesn't help you hit the baseball, you know, but it does all the other things, right? All that, it's still the same. It does make your balls go from maybe, 300 feet to 450 feet, maybe, I don't know, but. And it helps you recover faster, all those kind of things. But, anyway, he was the man for those few years for sure. So it was a fun time. Hope you learned something about Sports Illustrated and newspapers. You can go check out one. Those all those things still exist. Yeah.
The last time I saw anyone use it, though, was when we had a leak at the church, and you had to go grab some newspapers to...
That's what it was used for, just to pick up a spill.
Only time I think I've ever seen one.
Famous for dog training.
Yeah.
They're housebreaking for the dogs.
All right. Well, the other reason we had Papa here is he is great at and notorious for he loves setting goals. He's a goal setter. It's a great thing. And so we're heading into the new year, which is the time when everybody sets New Year's resolutions, new goals for the year. We're coming up on, we're in winter training. Spring ball is coming up soon. So it's a good time to set goals for spring ball, whatever you're into. But so he's just going to give us some tips, or maybe, his top 3 things on how to effectively set goals. All right?
Yes.
Well, before I give you those tips, I would just say, first of all, set goals. The old saying is, if you aim at nothing, you get it every time. And there are people who are afraid to set goals because they're afraid of failure. But setting goals is part of that, and is part of building for growth and developing. And so you need to set goals, whether it's in baseball or education or life in general. And so don't be afraid to set goals. But when you're setting goals, then there are some tips. So number one, I would say, make it practical. So, where's your passions? What do you love? And even about baseball, as a young baseball player, you can set a goal to, hit a 400-foot home run. Well, it's probably not going to happen. So, be practical about setting goals. The goals need to be reachable in realistic fashion. So, obviously, a goal, is beyond what you're capable, what you see yourself doing right now, and so you want to project out there, but make it realistic and make it reachable, so that it is something that you can accomplish, you can achieve. Sitting as a young baseball player saying, one day I want to play in the major leagues. for some people, they say, well, that's crazy. A small percentage of kids make it to the major leagues, but that's still a reachable goal. A lot of kids, a lot of major league players today started where you are, and they will talk about the fact that they dreamed of that moment, dreamed of getting into the major leagues and then getting into a World Series, and in some cases hitting that, game-winning home run, something like that. So you want to make it realistic and reachable, but on an ongoing basis, you want to also make it measurable. So if you say, I want to be a better baseball player, well, in what way? I want to increase my batting average, 10 points or 50 points, or I want to, develop a different pitch, an off-speed pitch or something. So you want to make it measurable so that I reached the goal, I didn't reach the goal. So a lot of times, even with adults, when we challenge them to make goals, they'll say, well, I want to be a better person. Well, the question is, in what way, and how do you measure that? And so you want to make it, measurable, and then, like I said, reachable. So realistic and reachable, and then, measurable, because you have to know, whether did I hit the goal?
Right.
Yeah. And if you talk in vague terms, then you never really know. So if it's hit my first home run in Little League, or minor, kids baseball, I want to hit my first home run, or I want to reduce the number of strikeouts. I only, so knowing where you were and then where you want to go, and then being able to measure the difference. Did I reach my goal? And then, and you don't always reach the goals. So you have to have a little perseverance. And sometimes those goals carry over. It maybe takes you, longer than you wanted, but you keep focused on that goal, and persevere and keep developing, keep growing, and then reach that goal. So, the measurable part and the realistic part of the thing, you can't, you can't have such a, lofty goal that it's not even realistic. I can't set a goal to be 6'6", because I'm never going to be 6'6", but I can, set a goal that, is realistic. I can be in better shape. I can run a 5K at a better time, or do more sit-ups, that kind of stuff. And I need to set some of those goals. So I'm talking myself under conviction right here.
Dad's taking notes.
But then you also want to be, because you want to be realistic, but we want to make sure that we're pushing ourselves too. So we don't want to be like, if we hit, if we hit 400 last year, we don't want to say, okay, my goal is to hit 401. We want to push ourselves.
You do want to push yourself. Yeah. And part of that, back when I was in high school and college, I lifted weights and participated in some contests there. And when you talk about, setting a goal is something you're not capable of doing right now, but you build towards that.
You work to get there.
Yeah, you work to get there. So, if you say, I can bench press 250 pounds, but my goal is to get to 275. Well, you've got to work that and go from 250 to 260, 265, 270, but at the time you set the goal, you couldn't do the 275, right. And so goals are not something that, are automatic, or they're it's right there, but it's far enough away, and it's part of the drive to really push and develop and grow. And so people say, well, I can't do that. Well, that's right, you can't.
Yeah,
but that's the goal. You're not there yet. So but you set those goals, and they motivate you to stay at it. So even with baseball, whether it's pitching or hitting or fielding, cutting, reducing the number of errors in the field, or increasing your batting average, or dropping, your wins and losses, or your, what do you call it with the pitchers, the ERA, you drop in that ERA, so, those are all things that you have to, and with the help of a good coach, you set the goals that are realistic for your age and your development, and and where you're headed. So, set goals. Don't be content to just exist. Set some goals and go after them.
Yes. For you and for everybody watching.
Yes.
Set goals. As we head into the new year, it's the perfect time right now to set goals. So we want to make them practical, reachable, and measurable.
Yeah. And the measurable part, I would say, is probably the
most important part.
Most important part. And when people set goals, they just typically people will talk in vague generalities, right. Very vanilla, and goals are should be very specific. So
awesome.
So are we gonna get to the cards?
We'll get to the cards first. You have a verse for us as our guest, a verse
sure
that ties in, and
yeah, I would say as a young teenager, as I was developing my love for the Bible and my walk with the Lord, Philippians 4:13 was a early favorite. I remember having a plaque on the wall. I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength. But as you age and mature and go through life's experiences, one of the ones that just sticks out to me is Acts 20:24. And the Apostle Paul is headed to Jerusalem, and a prophet says, you're going to suffer. You're going to pay a price for the ministry that you have and the life that you have. And Paul's response to that in verse 24 says, however, I consider my life worth nothing to me if only I may finish the race and complete the task the Lord Jesus has given me, the task of testifying to the gospel of God's grace. So he shows, again, he has a goal, and that's to finish the race and to complete the task that the Lord gave him. And so at all costs, and again, go back to the goal thing. Some people are like, well, I don't mind setting a goal if it's easy.
Right.
But a real goal that's going to challenge you is a goal that is going to stretch you, and for him, it's going to cost him his life. But he's zeroed in, he's focused in on finishing the task that the Lord gave him. And there'll be plenty of times in life where you'll want to quit. And, whether it's just a single goal or in bigger things, you'll just want to quit. And his attitude here at a strategic point in his life has meant a lot to me, just to say, you got to keep your eye on the goal, and you got to keep pushing to that goal. He says in Philippians, I press towards the goal of the prize. I'm not, forgetting what's behind me. I'm pressing towards the goal. So no matter how old you are and where you are in life or how you want to apply it, that attitude is important. And, it's an attitude that Paul modeled, and one that I've, tried to live out as much as I can.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great verse, great encouragement.
Yep.
So again, hopefully you guys will let that sink in and apply it. And Acts 20:24, verse of the week. All right, Wrecker, we can do it now. We can wrap up with some cards. You guys just give one for you and Papa. Won't open a pack today. I'll just I'll go through some of my new or my old school cards here. So you guys just open a pack. These are more, what are these ones again? These are tops, some more tops 2025. While they're opening, I'm going to go through some of my old school ones. Again, just so you guys can see. You can see some of these old school, the beauties, the way the cards used to be. As I was going through it, I forgot that I used to put these in when I stored them in the boxes. I stored them by the team. So
I got a Cardinal.
You got a Cardinal.
I got Wilson Contreras.
We've had a lot of fun going through these cards. One of the things that we just found, again, we're finding a lot. I've got a lot of good basketball cards, but one thing that I did just find was this King Griffey Jr. Rookie card.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
So that's a good one.
Another Cardinal.
Well, they got this guy on the cover, the Shohei Ohtani guy. Is he any good?
Boom, ching.
Whoa. Look at that. Shiny card.
What you got there?
It's a cool little, it's Nolan Arenado, believe it or not.
No? Okay.
It's Nolan Arenado, Summer Superstars, right there.
And I got Dodgers in here. I don't,
And then my foil.
Joe Kelly, he used to pitch for the
Cardinals
for
a while.
Yeah.
That's not my foil card. This is my foil card. Manny
Machado.
Yeah.
I don't,
I got some really good ones.
All right, who are we going to learn about today in our new school players?
I think Nolan Arenado is a great place. But
that's too homerish. Pick somebody that's not a Cardinal.
Fine.
Papa, who you got? What's random player in there? It doesn't have to be that you know them. Just pick some random.
Yeah, there's some here that I'm not familiar with.
All right, let's learn about them.
Yeah, so let's go to a decent team here. That's the thing. I don't want to support those bad teams. Well, for Boston Red Sox, Garrett Crochet. I'm not familiar with him.
He's a pitcher, ain't he?
He's a pitcher,
yeah.
Lefty. Yeah,
there we go. Garrett Crochet. I think I saw him on there's a Netflix thing with the Red Sox. He's 26 years old, born in 1999, the year I graduated high school.
How does that make you feel?
Let's see here. Plays for the Red Sox. He's previously played for the White Sox. Bats left, throws left. He's from Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
Made his debut in September of 2020 for the White Sox. And he's only played for a couple of years, so he's got a win-loss record of 27-24. I'm assuming he might be a closer with that kind of a record. ERA is 2.95, 549 career strikeouts. He's a two-time All-Star. Wow, he was an All-MLB first team last year, 2025. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he is a reliever.
He is a reliever. That makes sense.
In his entire career.
MLB strikeout leader in 2025. Wow. Crochet, he played college baseball for the Volunteers of Tennessee Volunteers. He was the 11th overall selection of the 2020 draft.
He was an opening day starter in 24 for the White Sox. So he started on the for the 24 season.
So his first year with the Red Sox would have been 2025 then.
Yeah.
Looks like he had a little gap there. He was with the White Sox 20 and 21. Then maybe he was in the minors or hurt, but then back 23 and 24.
He was pitcher of the month in June 24. He posted a 1.91 ERA, 56 strikeouts in 37 innings. So
anybody have a Dubster? I have a Cubs card.
Yeah, we could throw that one away. It's free. Just comment in if you want it. We'll send it to you.
I'll burn it.
All right, Garrett Crochet is our new school player for this episode. So we're going to keep opening cards, building up Riker's collection since my cards are... But again, the King Griffey Jr. rookie card, that's got to be worth something. I got to look that up.
Yeah, one of my regrets in life is that I had...
Yeah, we were going to try not to talk about that and throw you under the bus for this. But
I had boxes of cards as a kid. Had Willie Mays and... Pete Rose and Hank Aaron and some of those guys from way back.
Those could have been given to me, to which they would have given to you. So,
and I, back then, well, they just weren't. It wasn't a big deal. And so when I went off to college, I just tossed all of them. I had baseball cards, but also had a big selection of football cards. So I wish I would have connected those dots and realized what they would have meant at some point in time.
Yeah.
I probably had all those cards. I had boxes of them. So,
well, Dad has shoe boxes of them.
It's one of those things I said.
Well, see, even back then, even like now, you can buy boxes to store them in and folders and everything. Back then, there wasn't that kind of.
They didn't have that
attention. Yeah. So, it's one of my regrets in life.
Life regrets.
Well, thank you for being here.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. Next time you're in town, we'll have to have you back on. Next holiday season, when you're in town, we'll have to have you back on.
I enjoy it, and just keep up the good work, Riker.
I will.
How just developing all the way around as a young man, and both in baseball but also in life.
Thank you.
Just keep up the good work.
All right. Well, Riker, pray us out, and we will get out of here. Take off your Santa hat.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for another podcast. Thank you just for a festive holiday season, Lord. I pray that we would not get so carried away in the gifts, but remember the only reason that we celebrate this time of year is because of your birth, Lord. I pray that Papa would have a safe trip back to Missouri. I just pray that we would have a good day, that the viewer watching this would have a Merry Christmas. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, guys.